My name is Cleveland Graham, and elementary, J.B. Beck, and then of course I went to Howard High School after 6th grade from 7 to 12. And I graduated in 71. That's the year I graduated. Overall, good. Like I said earlier, my mother went to the Little Howard many years ago, and of course my brother and sister was ahead of me, so I couldn't wait to get there to go to the big school. Many of my relatives went to college and came back and taught there. I think the good part of it all, that the teachers looked out after us as a family, so to speak. Yes, I played senior varsity football for 3 years. Got banged up a few years, and I was average, and played a little junior varsity basketball. So sports was a way of life, you know. Whether we played on the team, we played after school. So I love sports as of today. The mighty Howard Tigers. Football was real football back then. I mean, you can do a lot of things, a lot of physical things then you can't do now. We had some rivalries. Winyah, which is in Conway, and Sterling, of course, that was, I think it was upstate, and Charleston. But of course, I think the first year, the year I graduated, Winyah and Howard played the first year because, of course, the integration and whatnot. But that was interesting. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Prep rallies was basically on Fridays, and especially if the team was going away. And that would take place perhaps maybe an hour before school was out. We'd go in the auditorium, and the teacher and the principal would just turn us loose. As long as we didn't tear the building down. But we did our dance and yell and did whatever we want to do. That was something to look forward to. And then, of course, homecoming, we have the bonfire. That was really a treat, literally bonfire. Yeah, they don't do that now because the fire department would shut us down. We get probably a lot of old wood pallets, and we sing around and do our cheerleaders. Of course, the cheerleaders does it, but we sings too. And we'll have whatever the school mascot, we would literally set it afire, but it wasn't too horrible. But it was all just a pep rally. Oh, yes, yes. We had dances. We had a lot of national singers came on out of the campus, but we had dances. Of course, we had proms, and we would have dance to generate money for the football team or the cheerleader. But that was cool. But now, really, the cool part is the basketball games, and that's a long story. You could ask a question how that was, and I can tell you. Well, the basketball games, of course, me and a few more of the guys, we'll come in about halftime, and you know, we just had a little group, and we sing the Temptation songs and whatnot. But we are we cheering the team on. But yeah, the basketball game was really, really cool for some people. But yeah, the basketball team was memorable. Football team was memorable also. We didn't have a baseball team until maybe early 70s. Mike Johnson was the coach, very good baseball coach. It's the swing, what most people call the shag. And really the shag, it's between a two-step, came from the black culture back in the 20s. And but I wasn't good at it, but you had some people, it's always something to see. The shuffle, we had the jerk, the twist, and it goes on and on and on. But I don't think we could count the name of all of the dances, the name of it, but that was really something. You had to be good at it too. If not, you just sit on the side and watch. Yes, we had some sweethearts. You had sweethearts. The sweetheart didn't like you, but you still had sweethearts. But yes, we had, I did rather, had young ladies or girls or teenager, however it was, that we got along well. One of the things about males and females that I really like about then to today, we would have groups of girls and guys, and we become friends. And it's not like if you see some with a guy, well, that's your girlfriend. No, we had groups that we were all friends, and we know that this is your girl. We treat that girl, even if his boyfriend is not there, as friends, and that was a good arrangement, if you want to call it a good feeling. And even today, some of the girls and some of the guys, we see one another. Hey, we hang out together, whether it's at the restaurant, downtown, Hardee's, whatever the case is. We still look at one another as true friends. Several. I think the happiest time, my first wife, is deceased, but we met in the, I guess, at the 10th grade, 11th grade, and we went on to get married, and that was the happiest time. The lunchroom, oh my goodness. We ate real food. I mean, we had like rice, we had collard green, we had yams, we had baked chicken, and it goes just like a meal. One of the reasons, because growing up in the Georgetown area in the West End, many of the children and parents, they wasn't that fortunate to have a good paper mill job, so they got good meals in the lunchroom. And then the football guys, which I was one of myself, the lady at the lunchroom, she would put more on our plate. That was memorable. But we had a good athletic director, Coach Smith, Mr. McInnons, and Charlie Knox. These guys were really good. Football guys, we got along good. Some still around today. So good memories that go on and on and on. Oh, yes. I think the top of it of all of the teacher, her name is Miss Barbara. She really cared about us. She did more than just taught us. She was an English teacher. She taught us how to respect ourselves, how to carry ourselves, and she cared about us. I really didn't come to appreciate that till later on. So she was one. Charlie Knox, he was our athletic director. He was a good friend, came about, and I took up welding, vocational. That director, he was good. He took time with us. So a lot of the teachers know my parents, and it was almost like family. Yes, Jesse Wilson, he's a relative. He went at a lot of the small black colleges that they went, some of them I can't recall, and they came back. And I had my aunt, Maggie Parker. She also came back and was teaching. So I had to be very careful because she'll go back and tell my mom, and mom and dad get a hold of me, and boy, that's not a good thing. So yeah, I had a relative, but the faculty as a whole, I give our teachers at Howard a thumbs up because the main reason they cared for us. School discipline was like this. Oh, excuse me. School discipline was like if you get into a situation, the principal was Mr. Drayton, and when you go in, he says, "Cleveland Graham, report to the principal office." I said, "Oh boy," because you know you did something wrong already. You just didn't know you got caught. And then when he turned around and he would look at the calendar, and he says, "Well, you come back on the 14th." So that was step number one. But then, of course, you had to go home. And the discipline continued. and then you're home now, so you got to do extra work. So that one act of discipline starts from the school, and then it goes home, and then it goes doing extra chores. So one stupid mistake, which most of them was, goes a long way. But it was the right thing to do. I look back, I should have got more discipline. I think I'd be a better person if I got more. Yeah. But I wasn't a rudely person, following the guys and the gals. Well, after school we played ball, basketball. We didn't play that. We called it sand lug, because everything we didn't, back in the early 70s, prior to 65, 66, we didn't have parks like we have today. So we had to carve out a cornfield, and if you played football, you just run the corn, the rows down, or basketball. So we played a lot of basketball. Baseball, we did the same way. We didn't have too much of track, but we played until dark. Summer vacation, for me, early on when I started going to Howard, prior to me, my other sisters went to Howard. To Howard. So I went into tobacco field, crop tobacco, 1 year, And I just went because my older brothers and sisters went, so I wanted to see what it was like. Unfortunately, I came up behind them. Like I said, my father was at the paper mill, so we had a little better life. And then I went to Myrtle Beach during the summers for about three years. Now that was really fun and interesting. The fun part, I learned to cook, short order cook. I wasn't a chef. I washed a lot of dishes. But we would stay at Myrtle Beach during the summer and then come back September to go to school. During that time, the Tams, the Drifters, Archibells and the Drells, they all would come up to this place in Myrtle Beach. It's called The Hill. The script is on one side of 17, and where the blacks would hang out was a place called A Hill. So Archibells and the Tams would perform on the script, and then after they would come over, and we would sit around and we'll be walking, and they'll be in the same club. It's like that was cool, really cool. When I first started going around 66, it wasn't segregated, and we could work in the restaurant, but we could not go down on the beach because they had a curfew, unfortunately. So after we get off of work, 10, 11, we had to be migrating back towards the hill because that was a curfew. Then later on, maybe 68, 69, that's when we could actually go down to the beach. But, you know, even though we had some snares here and there, I never hold it personally. It's just a growing pain. And working on the beach, working in a restaurant, finally going down to the beach, I'd say thumbs up. You know, the good times override the bad times. So, yeah, we had fun. Well, several things. The first thing is respect. When we went to school, you had to show respect because we was taught that in our home. That's in our home. That matter if we go to school, we go down the neighborhood. You know, to have no respect, that was unheard of. So it was easy for us to respect our teachers, which is unfortunately it's kind of hard for kids to do that today. So we showed respect. That's different. I wasn't an A student because I was raised by a daughter of a slave. So I kind of fell through the crack, but I picked it up on my vocational skills. So it's different today. I'm sad because most of the school don't have vocational. I mean, if you can be a computer whiz, hey, that's great. But if you can be a welder, or electrician, or carpenter, today that's greater. So taking advantage of skills is different. Lack of respect and work ethics. Okay. So you got to work at anything you do. So the kids today is easy to give up. I don't show any initiative. Yes, we graduated in 71. I think the first year of the merge was 70. Our class was the first mandatory merge. I think that was 70. Now, 68, 69 was voluntarily So my class was the first mandatory merge. And we didn't have any problem. We had maybe one little tussle. But other than that, we gelled. And really, I was surprised, whites and black, I was surprised. I mean, we might have tried to start a fight just to start. Well, we're supposed to not get along. But it wasn't the case. So we found out early on that, hey, what a big deal. So some of the guys today, Bill Blake, Mike Wilson, we first senior year, he see me, they see me, hey, Cleve, yo. So we had a good year of that mandatory. I give Winyah and Howard thumbs up on that. Yeah. And when I give you these thumbs up, some would say, well, but good always conquer one or two small things. But I said thumbs up. Well, one other thing to the difference between children now, we had a dress code. In other words, we didn't have uniform. We couldn't, I think that year was the first year you can wear short pants. Prior to that, we couldn't wear short pants. So we had, I guess by when y'all coming in and used to wearing short pants, but we didn't come to school wearing anything that we want. That was unheard of. So that's another big difference between the kids now and then. But I want to stress one other thing that I said earlier about the teachers, and I'm quite sure Winyah feels the same way with their teachers, but Howard was a close-knit. And that's Georgetown, and what most people don't understand. Georgetown is a county, a city, a place that is close-knit. I'm 72, and it have always, black and whites and people was more, we learned to depend on one another. So, I lived in New York a little bit, Connecticut a little bit, Virginia a little bit. Of course, I was a hippie. I would hitchhike all over with a big apple. Peace out, man. But I always migrated back to Georgetown. So Georgetown, in actuality, for me, it's a good place to live. I would like to travel some more, but to say actually to live, I'm good right where I'm at. Only thing that I would hope that would turn out to make my life a little better. Georgetown, I was hoping when I graduated that the city, county would expand a little bit more adventurous. But I think now I'm beginning to understand Georgetown is a port town. And I'm I guess the older I got now, it's a port town. You have a port in, I think, Wilmington and a port. So port town is, you don't get any more port towns. So to keep it a port town, yes. But I would always love to see Georgetown, maybe a little other things like maybe a swimming, I know it's wise, swimming recreation, or the ballpark bring in lead spring training, a little bit more. But I'm not a organizer when it comes to this county council, but I still today, and I think it would contribute to young people coming out of school. because young people are leaving just as fast as they, and then if they stay, it's just not enough to harness our young people. And that's not a good thing, because if they don't have something to do, sooner or later they're going to do something that they should not be doing. So other than that, like I said, I'm 72. I still can play ball. I still can run. I still can dance. So me personally, I'm good. Yes, my father, he was big in cars. He had nice cars. And then my brother, when he came out of service, he had a Mark I, 2+2 and Mark. So by the time I got to 11th grade, we cruised back and forth to Myrtle Beach. I think prom night, we must have went back 4 or 5 times. Right to Myrtle Beach, stayed a little bit. But we actually couldn't cruise too much. There was a place around Georgetown because they only had about 4 or 5 blocks, you know. But yeah, I did rather, had access to vehicle. And then of course I moved away. I moved away probably right after I got out of high school. Whoa, we walked. I don't know if you would measure the distance from Radio Shack to Howard. I guess a mile maybe. And we walked that every day. Rain, sleet. The bus just didn't come around Georgetown. Not for us anyway. No, I don't know about Winyah. But we had to walk every day. If it rained, you walk. If it cold, it's hot, walk every day. One bad moment I want to share with you, I shared this today. Not bad moment, but when we was at Howard, we had a gate around us. And if you were late, they locked the gate. So you get late, you miss school, and oh boy. But, you know, sometimes people late, you oversleep, you never know. And now Winyah, they could go to Hardee's. I shared that with someone lately. And that was a dark moment. But later on, they quit that. I think it's second year before I came out. But at one time, they would actually lock the gates. And we couldn't figure out. They said, well, why we got to lock the gate? When they was going, they go in the Hardee's, getting a quarter pounder, you know. But once again, you had up and down points. But overall, we had a good time walking. You know, you classmate, the guys, you talk about things and you cut the food and kick a can down the street or whatever the case is. So we made the best out of it, you know. Like I said, to look back on it, on my perspective of Howard and the transition, what Howard made me out of, and I say it centered around the teachers, the faculties, the coach, my parents, and the love that they gave us, the teachers, and the respect that I gave them. So what they gave me and what I gave them, that makes my Howard experience a corner, I would say, the best time in my life. In spite of all of the ups and downs that the system or the social, but that's going on all over the world. You can't get rid of that. So thumbs up. Howard Tigers, go Tigers!